After World War II, the UK introduced the first ever main battle tank, the legendary Centurion. British engineers managed to combine the best qualities of several classes of tanks: sturdy armor, decent mobility, and good firepower, all in one neat package. Thanks to its outstanding performance, the Centurion remained in service all around the globe till the very end of the century. In War Thunder, there are several Centurion variants that can be found in the British, the Swedish, and the Israeli tech trees. But what's their designated combat role? As envisioned by the British engineers that designed them, Centurions are highly versatile tanks that remain effective in any combat conditions. Tanks of the series have better armor than other first-generation Western MBTs, but aren't as well protected as the Soviet ones. Most Centurions have a max speed of 35 km per hour, which means that their counterparts are usually faster. But British vehicles make up for that with good acceleration and their ability not to bleed speed on any terrain. If you're fighting on a small or medium-sized map, a Centurion will always be among the first tanks to reach key areas of the map, or at least will get there right after the vanguard. Another key feature of this tank family is that these tanks are equipped with powerful, quick-firing cannons. British engineers made sure that these guns were as convenient to use as possible. They have decent elevation and come with sub-caliber rounds with excellent ballistics. Furthermore, all Centurions except for the Mark I are equipped with a two-plane stabilizer. They're an excellent pick if you're into careful, deliberate gameplay. Just find yourself a position that allows you to cover several key areas, like positions that are next to B on Finland. The first vehicle of the series, the Mark I, is available only to the Brits. This tank combines the key strengths of its Soviet, German, and American counterparts. Its upper glacis plate can withstand hits coming from medium tanks. Its armament allows it to pierce the defenses of heavy tanks. Its mobility? Well, it's not perfect, but it's perfectly manageable. Mark I tanks also have access to APDS rounds, allowing British tankers to be among the first to master using this type of ammo. If you're new to this round, we suggest that you should aim at the target's center of mass, or, in the case of especially large vehicles, at the turret, close to the mantlet, to destroy the breach and to knock out the enemy gunner. Furthermore, thanks to its fast reload, the Mark I performs pretty well in a fight against several opponents. First disarm them, then deal the final blow. Finally, the last big selling point of the tank is the fact that it can launch smoke grenades, allowing you to create smoke screens that have a lot of tactical utility. The Mark III is, unsurprisingly, also found in the British tech tree. It received a sturdier turret and a new 20-pounder with a two-plane stabilizer. This tank is equally effective at long range and in CQC. Just keep in mind that its 6x magnification sight for the gunner isn't always up to the task in long-range engagements. At extreme ranges, it's good to switch to the commander's optics as they have a max magnification of 10x. And be very careful. Despite receiving a new turret, the tank's armor arrangement is pretty much the same. Export Centurions, the Swedish Stridsvagn 81 and the Israeli Schott, perform in a similar fashion. The Mark X, as well as its Swedish variant, the Stridsvagn 101, both sit at rank 5. They're almost a carbon copy of the Mark III, apart from some additional armor on the hull and a new gun, the 105mm L7 cannon, which has a slower fire rate but is noticeably more powerful. Soon the UK stopped developing new tanks of the series, but their foreign clients weren't ready to give up on their older models. Israel, for instance, kept on modernizing Centurions. The first Israeli vehicle of this type was the Schott Kal Aleph, equipped with a more powerful power pack from the M60 and a new transmission allowing it to reach a speed of 48 km per hour. It was followed by the Schott Kal Gimel, which also received a new Israeli-made 105mm Sharir cannon, a laser rangefinder, as well as a Blazer ERA. At rank 6, we find two more tanks, influenced by the work of Israeli engineers. the South African Oliphant Mark 1A, and the Swedish STRV 104. These modified Centurions are best used as snipers, as they take a long time reaching max speed and aren't particularly well protected. On the other hand, their quick reload, laser rangefinders, and powerful M111 APF SDS rounds make them extremely dangerous at long ranges. Naturally, both tanks are especially effective on big maps with hilly terrain like Sands of Sinai. The most modern vehicles of the series are found in the British and the Swedish tech trees. The STRV 105 isn't that different from the preceding model, but the Oliphant Mark II is basically a completely new design, which is only fair. Thanks to a new transmission and a new 1,050 horsepower engine, its mobility is almost on par with modern MBTs. The turret of the tank was reinforced with composite armor, improving its survivability, and sights for both gunner and commander were equipped with thermal imaging, making it very easy to search for targets. South African engineers basically breathed a second life into the vehicle, allowing it to reclaim its title of a true universal tank. Finally, there are quite a few Centurions that are event vehicles or premium vehicles. The British Action X and the Australian Mark V/1 are similar to the Mark III in the firepower department, but the latter has additional armor, while the Action X requires clever positioning, as it's best used when making full use of a hull-down position. The British and Swedish tech trees also include the premium STRV-81, which is equipped with Robot.52 first-generation ATGMs. The premium British AVRE, as well as the FV-4202, which is part of the regular tech tree, are very different from other vehicles of the series. The AVRE is armed with a short-barreled demolition gun that's not very effective at range, but is devastating up close. The FV-4202 is an experimental vehicle which was an amalgamation of the experience gleaned over years of developing Centurions. This is the slowest tank in the family, and it looks a bit like the Action X because of its new mantletless turret. Finally, in the British tech tree, there's also one more rare premium vehicle, the Schutt Caldalet, which is a modernized Centurion, like the STRV 104 or the early Oliphant. Centurions will have their uses in any combat conditions and on any battlefield. Thanks to their powerful cannons and decent armor, they will always be a reliable pick for an experienced tanker. And what do you think about this series of tanks? Tell us in the comments below.